Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are diving enthusiastically into the fascinating science of how to preserve our dynamic, 360-degree joints for a lifetime of pain-free movement. You know, our bodies are absolutely incredible machines, but for the longest time, we've had this pretty grim, frankly outdated view of how our joints actually age. We've been taught to think of them like rusty mechanical hinges that are just destined to wear out over time. Well, today, we're going to completely flip that script using some of the latest clinical data and biomechanical research. Okay, here's our clear roadmap for today. We'll be hitting 5 key areas. First, moving beyond the wear and tear myth. Second, unlocking the power of movement. Third, looking at nutrition and joint load. Fourth, how sleep drives joint recovery. And finally, number 5, pain management and protection. All right, let's jump straight into section 1, beyond wear and tear, reframing joint health. Actually, let's kick things off with something that probably freaks almost everyone out at some point. You know that loud cracking, popping sound your knees or your shoulders make when you stand up or stretch? It actually has a medical name, crepitus. Now, the absolute most crucial takeaway here is that this terrifying popping sound is usually just harmless air bubbles bursting. Seriously, it is not your bones grinding away into dust. What happens is air seeps into the soft tissues around your joint, and when you bend it, those little bubbles just pop. Unless that sound is accompanied by actual pain, it is completely normal, nothing to fear at all. And this brings us to a massive, game-changing paradigm shift. We have to remember that joints are living tissues. They literally demand movement to pump in this thick, oil-like synovial fluid, which triggers a cellular cleanup process called autophagy. See, unlike a mechanical hinge on a door, your cartilage doesn't actually have its own blood supply. It relies entirely on the physical loading and unloading of movement to essentially squeeze out metabolic waste and suck in fresh oxygen and nutrients from that fluid. So if you stay completely still, you are actively starving your joints. It is truly a case of use it or lose it, not wear and tear. Now, what's incredibly fascinating here is how recent MRI evidence totally debunks the old myth that running ruins your knees. I mean, for decades, the cultural narrative told us that pounding the pavement would just destroy our joints, right? But the actual epidemiological data shows that recreational runners have lower rates of knee osteoarthritis compared to people who are mostly sedentary. Just like your muscles, cartilage adapts and actually becomes thicker and more resilient when it's subjected to regular, appropriate stress. And get this, the total per-mile impact for a runner is basically comparable to walking because a runner's stride is longer and their foot spends way less time on the ground. Moving right along to section 2, the power of movement, focusing on lubrication and strength. So how do we actually put this into practice? We can manage our movement beautifully using the proven FITT framework. That stands for frequency, intensity, time, and type. For frequency, we want daily movement. For intensity, a great practical trick is the talk test. If you're exercising and you can comfortably hold a conversation, but you're a bit too winded to sing a song, you've hit that perfect moderate intensity sweet spot. For time, aim for about 150 minutes a week. And for type, you definitely want to mix it up. You need range of motion stuff, like yoga, to move the joints through their full path. You need low-impact aerobics, like cycling, for heart health. And absolutely do not skip strength training. Building up those muscles acts like a natural, protective brace right around your joints. Now, if you're stuck at a desk all day, you might be wondering, how do I fit this in? Well, let's talk about exercise snacks. These are brilliant, realistic, 1 to 5 minute bursts of movement that break up sedentary habits and get that joint metabolism firing again. Sitting for hours causes that synovial fluid to get thick and sticky and your muscles stiffen up. But by just tossing in a 2-minute brisk march in place, or even doing cow phrases while you wait for a document to the printer, you immediately jumpstart that metabolic engine. Oh, and don't forget your neck joints. Use the 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes, look at something 20 feet away for 20 seconds. It works wonders to release all that built-up tension. All right, section 3, nutrition and joint load. This is where physics essentially meets biochemistry. Think for a moment about the massive mechanical forces our knees have to absorb just moving around. Because the knee acts as a fulcrum when you walk, the physical force isn't just a simple one-to-one match with your body weight. Not even close. Just walking on a flat, level surface hits your joints with a force of 1.5 times your body weight. If you kick up the pace and walk up a steep incline, boom, that jumps to 3 times your body weight. And running pushes it to 4 times. And because of those exact multipliers we just talked about, we arrive at this mind-blowing 1-to-4 ratio. This means losing just 1 single pound of excess body weight literally removes 4 pounds of crushing mechanical pressure from your knee with every single step. Think about that scale for a second. If you drop just 10 pounds, that is 40 pounds of stress taken off your knees thousands of times a day. On top of that, excess body fat isn't just sitting there. It acts as an active endocrine organ. It pumps out inflammatory chemicals that can degrade cartilage even in joints that don't bear any weight, like the knuckles in your hands. So, beyond the sheer physics of weight, chemistry is absolutely vital here. Adopting an anti-inflammatory style of eating, like the Mediterranean diet, essentially acts as a fire extinguisher for the systemic inflammation that degrades our cartilage. Nutrition is a huge, often overlooked pillar of joint preservation. You really want to balance your omega-6 to omega-3 ratio. Eating fatty fish like salmon loads you up with omega-3s to cool down systemic inflammation. Meanwhile, snacking on berries or using good extra virgin olive oil gives you these powerful antioxidants that actively hunt down and neutralize the free radicals causing your joints to age. This whole anti-inflammatory strategy ties perfectly into targeted supplementation, specifically using highly bioavailable hydrolyzed collagen peptides. Collagen is literally the main structural protein in our cartilage, but as we age, our natural production of it just drops off. Now, the magic word here is hydrolyzed. Native collagen proteins from food are often just too big for our bodies to easily absorb. But hydrolyzed peptides, they've been broken down by enzymes, meaning they zip right into your bloodstream and get straight to work repairing bone density and joint tissues, depending on whether they are sourced from bovine, marine, or porcine origins. On to Section 4, sleep and joint recovery, or what I like to call the overnight repair cycle. Okay, let's dive into a genuine hidden superpower, deep sleep. This is the exact time when our bodies release crucial growth hormones to repair tissue, dial back inflammation, and churn out fresh collagen. Without enough deep sleep, your body's ability to heal daily microdamage just tanks. Poor sleep actively cranks up systemic inflammation and shuts down the production of that essential collagen we were just talking about. That leaves your connective tissues noticeably weaker and way more prone to injury the very next day. And remember how we said cartilage doesn't have its own blood supply? Well, because it's roughly 80% water, our joints heavily depend on this nighttime downtime to literally rehydrate. It's just like a dense kitchen sponge. All day long, the sheer weight of your body squishes the water out of that cartilage sponge. It is only when you finally lie horizontally in bed, taking all that compressive weight off, that the cartilage can expand, soak that water back in, and fully restore its protective cushioning for tomorrow. And finally, Section 5. Pain management and protection through smart daily habits. When it comes to dealing with pain, you absolutely must know the difference in acute care. The rule of thumb is, use cold to slam the brakes on swelling for fresh injuries, but use moist heat to relax muscles for chronic, ongoing stiffness. If you roll your ankle or tweak a knee on a hike, grab the ice pack, always wrapped in a towel, of course, for those first 48 hours to constrict blood flow. But if you're waking up with that familiar chronic ache of osteoarthritis, a warm shower or a hot, moist towel is your best friend. That heat slightly raises the tissue temperature, relaxing all those tight muscles that are constantly guarding the joint, and it actually raises your threshold for pain. Beyond that, we can actively protect our joints through really simple, smart daily ergonomics. It's about working smarter, not harder, with your body's mechanics. Need to open a heavy commercial door? Lean into it with your stronger shoulder instead of pushing with just your hands. Stop twisting stubborn jar lids and stressing out arthritic finger joints. Just buy a simple under-cabinet jar opener. If your knees are bugging you at the gym, maybe skip the deep squats and opt for a controlled leg press instead, and change how you're sitting every 15 minutes. These tiny daily modifications might seem small, but man, they add up to massive preservation over a lifetime. To wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one vital, actionable question. What is the very first 2-minute exercise snack you are going to add to your routine today to start feeding your joints? Remember, your joints are living, breathing, dynamic structures. They are practically begging for movement, great anti-inflammatory nutrition, and high-quality restorative rest. Pick just one single micro-workout to attach to your day right now and watch how it transforms your physical baseline. Thanks so much for learning with me today, and keep moving.